The Department of Government Efficiency, they're exposing you, it's true. Your leftist crew and act blue too. The house of cards has crumbled. You assholes now stand humbled. The uniparty is hoes. Motherfucker, beware of D.O.G.E!
Mankind has had complete dominion over this planet for at least the past few thousand years. We are confident that the human race has extended our influence and reach to such a degree that we will forever go unchallenged. But have you ever stopped to think that our reign over this planet is simply a carefully crafted illusion, molded by entities that our species has had enmity with since the beginning of recorded history? That's what we'll be exploring tonight. Just who or what are the Silurians?
Now the serpent was more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God actually say, 'You shall not eat of any tree in the garden'?" And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden. But God said, 'You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.' But the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not surely die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.' So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he did too ate.
In late 1999, the author and lecturer, D.O.G.E., published his best-selling book entitled The Biggest Secret. In this work, he claimed that shape-shifting reptilian humanoids from the Alpha Draconis star system, which he ties to ancient myths and secret societies, secretly control Earth by taking on human form and occupying positions of power. While Ike had been exploring conspiracy theories earlier in the decade, starting with his shift to New Age and conspiracy ideas after a publicized spiritual awakening in 1991, the reptilian hypothesis emerged as a central theme in his writing and lectures around 1998 to 1999. Earlier works, like The Robot's Rebellion, laid some groundwork by discussing extraterrestrial influence and control over humanity. But it was the book entitled The Biggest Secret that fully articulated the reptilian narrative, including claims about world leaders and royal families being part of this hybrid race. This theory went hand in hand with notions of powerful secret societies such as the Illuminati, the Bilderbergers, and Skull and Bones. Most would dismiss Ike as an eccentric lunatic, but others would wholeheartedly embrace his theory, and through the years, it would gain a massive amount of traction, especially within the dark corners of the internet. The Silurian hypothesis is a thought experiment in astrobiology and paleontology that asks whether it would be possible to detect evidence of an advanced industrial civilization that might have existed on Earth millions of years ago, long before humans evolved. It was proposed by Gavin Schmidt, a climate scientist at NASA, and Adam Frank, an astrophysicist, in a 2018 paper titled The Silurian Hypothesis. Would it be possible to detect an industrial civilization in the geological record? Published in the International Journal of Astrobiology. The name Silurian is a playful nod to a fictional race of intelligent reptilian beings from the TV show Doctor Who, not a claim about the actual Silurian period, which occurred 443 to 419 million years ago. The hypothesis isn't asserting that such a civilization existed. Rather, it explores how long the traces of an industrial society like ours would persist in the geological record and whether we could recognize them after tens or hundreds of millions of years. There are 4 key points to the hypothesis framework. In the area of geological persistence, human civilization has only been industrial for about 300 years. The hypothesis questions how long evidence like fossil fuels, plastics, synthetic chemicals, or mass extinctions would remain detectable after millions of years, given processes like erosion, subduction, and sediment burial. A second point is detectability. It suggests that many of our industrial signatures, such as skyscrapers, roads, or monuments, would erode or be buried over vast timescales. Subtler signs like carbon isotope anomalies from burning fossil fuels or rare earth element spikes from mining might linger, but could be hard to distinguish from natural processes. A third point of contention is the idea of a pre-human Earth. It considers the possibility that an advanced species, not necessarily human-like, could have risen and fallen during Earth's 4.54 billion year history, perhaps during periods like the Mesozoic, which occurred some 252 to 66 million years ago, when conditions supported complex life. Finally, are the implications for astrobiology. By flipping the question of detecting alien civilizations outward to looking inward at Earth's own past, it challenges assumptions about what so-called advanced life leaves behind and how we'd spot it elsewhere in the universe. The reason the Silurian hypothesis is so intriguing is it's a critique of anthropocentrism, namely the notion that we humans assume we're the first technological species because we haven't found clear evidence otherwise. Furthermore, it ties into the Fermi paradox, which questions why we don't see signs of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. It is suggesting that civilizations might be ephemeral, leaving little trace over cosmic timescales. Over the years, there have been numerous sightings and reports of supposed reptilians shape-shifting or morphing in front of news cameras and live audiences. Here are just a few examples. During an interview with CNN's Wolf Blitzer, anchor Brian Todd was briefly caught revealing what many have claimed are a second set of eyes. Take a look.
Yeah, what about the cost, Brian? Is that at all a consideration?
It's a big consideration. Just about every former officer I spoke with says the cost of outfitting each combat troop with a tracking device is one of the main reasons they don't have them right now.
So when you speak...
On a segment of My Fox Los Angeles, a TV presenter ominously begins to morph on camera. The control booth seems to furiously yell over the mics. The cameras cut to another anchor, then back to the original presenter, to which she has returned to normal. Take a look.
Doctor to assess certain celebrities' risk factors and make her analysis. For example, she says, it appears Britney is suffering from a major psychological disorder and that it might actually be bipolar. Could be that. The doc then predicts how much longer they'll live. Sick, I know, but I also know you want to hear what she has to say. The doc says if these people don't get help or straighten up fast, I haven't pre-read any of this. Britney won't make it to the age 30, Lindsay won't see 25, and Michael Jackson has no more than 5 years left. At the other end, Angelina's going to have a long, healthy life, and so will George Bush and Nicole Richie.
If you're not already bipolar,
I hear yelling in the booth. Are they yelling at me for the way I read that?
You did great.
Okay.
But if you're not,
excuse me.
I could hear Lisa yelling.
Give her a break. She didn't read it earlier. She doesn't know the story. It's okay. Just stop it. She's okay.
I could hear you.
Some expert who doesn't know any of them making comments on how long they'll live that we did on Iraq today, okay?
Are you trying to make me feel bad?
I don't have to.
You're right.
One reporter, Michael Brownlee, bizarrely seems to have a history of transforming on camera. One notable incident has Brownlee beginning to transform, notices this, and intentionally steps away from the camera. Take a look.
16-year-old daughter, the victim in this case, was also arrested here back on September 18th. Now, keep in mind, this is the family story, their account of what they see happened here on campus earlier this month. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach the school district for comment, but keep in mind, a mother and daughter baffled over how a celebration with cake.
Stories and allegations surrounding notable politicians have swirled for decades. The Clintons, Obamas, and even the Bushes are routinely hounded by these accusations. During an interview with then-President George Herbert Walker Bush, eagle-eyed observers point out that Bush's left pupil momentarily shifts to resemble that of a reptilian. Take a look.
In Colombo in Sri Lanka. It's full. You literally, I don't know how they're going to get all the crates.
This next clip is particularly unnerving and was taken during the taping of a BBC program named The Antiques Roadshow. In the clip, a mysterious man in the background seems to stare into the camera from a distance, his otherworldly smirk and horrifically large eyes catching the onlookers off guard. Be warned, this next clip is disturbing. During a press briefing in the summer of 2012, then Chicago Mayor Ron Emanuel seems to shapeshift right on camera. Take a look.
Are very, as I said, respectful of our teachers, does right by our kids, and is fair to our taxpayers. The issues that remain are minor. The issues that remain are minor.
In this next clip, an inhuman creature is captured during an abortion rights protest held outside the home of Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts' home in May of 2022. Take a look. The most recent example of someone claiming to spot a so-called reptilian is a hysterical woman on a plane claiming that her fellow passenger was not a real person. Take a look.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two f***, but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not going to. I don't give two f***, but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real.
So what is the truth? Has humanity been battling lizard creatures in disguise from the time of Adam and Eve? Or is it just a cultural memory passed down from the Paleolithic in which our ancestors were weary of the scaly lizards and snakes that plagued us from the shadows? Does a dark cabal of reptilian puppet masters exist just beyond our understanding? Or is it just a modern-day bedtime story meant to keep us guessing? That's ultimately for you to decide. But as we always tell our dear viewers, you better question everything and trust no one.